Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 20. Yeah, I can't believe it's been 20 episodes already. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I have a celebrity co-host on the show today, and I have LC. What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, how you doing? LC Holt here.
LC Holt. So today's a little bit different, guys. We're going to talk about two 80s New York horror movies. We're going to talk about Street Trash and CHUD. We're going to start off the show by talking about Street Trash, 1987. LC, what do you think about the film?
Well, I mean, you and I were talking about this before we went on. The film is not something you hear about too often.
Right.
Though I did, when I was younger, I remember getting the Fangoria magazine that had Street Trash in it and reading the article on it. And it showed some pictures, of how they did some of the effects, especially the guy that melts into the toilet. That was a big one.
My favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it has some interesting scenes. I mean, Street Trash is one of those movies, you would almost call it like a horror film version of Clerks or something. It's not really the plot. It's more like episodes.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of go from one scenario to the other. I mean, and some of the stuff is really, it is a dark comedy, so some of it is really funny. The guy putting the chicken down his pants and stuff like that.
Now I've seen Street Trash. I only seen it a couple years ago, so I'm like kind of new to it. But I know it came out in 87, and I read something and it said it had a DVD release August 30th, 2005. So when I was reading that, I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting because that's quite the jump. I'm pretty sure it had a VHS release.
Yes, it did.
But the DVD release was in 2005, which I was like, that's pretty interesting. I thought it would have got one a little bit sooner than that.
Yeah, I mean, it may be partly because, the director of the movie, Michael Murnau,
yeah,
he's gone on to become a very well-known and respected director of photography.
Yeah, all right on.
With, a lot of people watching Street Trash, you wouldn't realize that the same guy that directed Street Trash was the cinematographer on, like, that Kevin Costner Western Open Range.
I had no idea.
He was the director of photography on Rush Hour 3.
Nice.
He did that movie with Paul Haggis, Crash, that won all the Academy Awards.
Yep. And it's so funny, too, because, all those films you mentioned, people have seen, but not a lot of people seen Street Trash.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would think that the guy that did the photography on Open Range directed Street Trash.
Now, hey, what was it? I don't know. You might know more about the story than me, but I heard something about them getting sponsored by, some snack company.
Oh, I'm not sure. Was the company called Viper?
No, it was what was the name of this? I don't remember. It was like a quick read before. It was something like no one wanted to produce the film. They didn't want to release the film, so they got a company to sponsor them, and it was like a snack company, and it was really weird.
Huh.
Yeah,
I do remember reading. I remember reading in that Fangoria article about Michael Murnau saying that when he first showed, the dailies to the investors, they were really scared because it didn't have any sound on it. Because the first run of the dailies, sometimes they don't have sound.
Yeah.
And when you shoot in New York, of course, the sound is almost unusable because of the street traffic and everything. And, a lot of those movies are looped after the fact. Like this movie, if you notice, Street Trash has a very looped feeling. You can tell the dialogue was put in later.
Right.
I remember reading in that Fangoria about how the investors were like, oh my God, is the movie not going to have sound? And he was like, no, this is just the part of the process.
Yeah. One interesting thing I really found out about the movie, which was really cool. Bill, the guy who plays the cop in the movie, he was a real New York police officer before they made the movie.
I believe that. I could buy that for sure, but that guy.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting, too. And, the amount of times they said fuck in the movie was probably a lot. That was their favorite word in the movie. Everything was like fuck. fucking had to say it at least 200 times. It was hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. You know, the writer of Street Trash, the guy that Roy Frumkes, I think his name is?
Yeah.
He directed a great documentary about the making of Dawn of the Dead with George Romero.
Oh, no way.
He directed, it was called Document of the Dead.
Oh, all right, nice. I didn't know it was him that made it.
Yeah, he wrote Street Trash. And then he went on, and I think he wrote those movies, The Substitute, you know?
Yeah, yep.
He wrote those.
All right.
But before he did Street Trash, he did a really good documentary called Document of the Dead about George Romero making Dawn. And it's worthwhile. If you get the special edition of Dawn of the Dead on DVD or Blu-ray, they usually have that documentary as an extra.
All right, on.
That's how I watched it. It's very, very good.
Overall, man, I really enjoyed Street Trash. It's a really good film. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Yeah. You know, if you want to see some good melting people drinking some bad liquor and melting, then this is the movie.
And I know Synopsis Films did a Blu-ray release on the movie. So if like you're looking to buy it on Blu-ray, they have it.
Yeah, and that was the same company that released the first horror feature that I was. They released Homesick.
Oh, Synopsis did.
Yeah.
Oh, right on. So while you're there, grab a copy of that too.
Yes, and you can see me getting chopped in half.
All right, so let's jump into this. And now, this was my favorite. Now, in my opinion, you know, like I said, this is my opinion. This is one of the more well-known, you know, better New York horror films, CHUD.
Yes.
This is a good one. CHUD's a good one. It was directed by Douglas Cheek. August 31st, 1984.
Yeah, so this predated Street Trash.
Yes. This was before Street Trash. That's right.
And this also was the first time John Hurd and Daniel Stern shared the screen together, long before Home Alone.
Yes, long before Home Alone. Let me point out that I don't know what their box office was, but the budget for this movie was $125 million. $125 million. Yeah, $125 million was the budget for the movie.
You mean thousand?
No, I'm pretty sure it was million. Can actually,
oh my god!
Yeah, let me bring up and let me double check that, because I'm pretty sure it said 125 million, but I can definitely double check to make sure that was right. CHUD, because that does seem like a lot, huh?
Yeah, for CHUD. Yeah, I mean, the CHUD obviously has a bigger budget than Street Trash.
Budget, 1.25 million, yeah.
Oh, 1.2, okay, yeah, okay.
Yep, and their box office was 4.7 million. So they did great.
Yeah, and you got the sequel.
Yeah. Bud the CHUD.
Bud the CHUD. No.
Bud the CHUD.
That was a few years later, though, like 5 years later.
Yeah, I wasn't too big of a fan of Bud the CHUD, but...
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I can't really remember Bud the CHUD too much. I watched it, and I think I promptly forgot it.
I think I've only seen the movie one time.
But CHUD, yeah, I mean, it also has one of the first appearances of John Goodman.
Yeah, he played the cop in the diner.
And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, CHUD, I mean, there's a lot to say about CHUD, from the actors in it, and it's a really good one. Now, I've met a couple people that don't like CHUD, but I don't think they understand CHUD. Because CHUD was more like, you know, stories from, like, different characters' perspectives than, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you also kind of have to think about it in terms of what was in the air in the early 80s, where they really did think people were dumping sewage or toxic waste in the sewers, you know?
Right. Yeah.
It's sort of like that old thing about, you know, there being alligators in the sewers.
Right. And in the movie, they were following the perspective from, there was the photographer.
Yeah, the John Hurt character.
Yep, and there was the photographer, there was the guy that served the food for the homeless people. Actor's name was, I can't think of it.
Are you talking about the Reverend?
Yes.
Yeah, that was Daniel Stern.
Yeah, Daniel Stern. Yeah, Daniel Stern. He's probably my favorite character in the movie. That was he had like the strongest role in my opinion.
Yeah, he's really good in it. There's also there's an actress in there, Kim Grest, I think her name is.
Yeah.
She plays John Hurt's girlfriend, and she had appeared in a lot of movies around this. If you've ever seen Throw Mama from the Train, she was in Throw Mama from the Train.
Yeah, never seen it yet. So like when you really like look back at the cast of that movie compared to Street Trash, there's a lot of like, big actors in this movie.
Oh yeah. A lot of these people went places,
I
think you had Joe Polito in there too.
Yeah. So CHUD came out in '84. John Goodman was in it. So he was in Roseanne. When did Roseanne first come out? Do you remember off the top of your head?
That was a little later in the 80s.
Was it later in the 80s? So, all right. So he did this before Roseanne.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, this was several years before Roseanne started. This was even before Raising Arizona.
Oh, see, another good thing to know, because I thought this was like around the same time-ish, because I wasn't too sure when Roseanne actually, first came out.
Yeah, I think that was more around the time of Bud the CHUD.
Gotcha. Okay. So, do you know, because it's another thing that I don't know for fact, was this John Goodman's first movie?
I think he had a couple things before this, but they were just like, not like names. He didn't have a name in the movie. He was like a guy on the street or something.
Right on. So the same thing for Daniel Stern, because I know he's in Home Alone. He was in another good movie too. Little Monsters.
He was in City Slickers.
Yeah. Yep.
He was in quite a few movies there for a minute in the 90s. He was in some really bad movies in the 90s too, but, it happens to all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, I just realized too, like when I was doing, some further researches on the movie to prepare, that AJ, he was in Daniel Stern, AJ from the film, he was in so many movies, and I didn't know that he was one of the criminal guys from Home Alone until not too long ago, which I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, him and Joe Pesci. He replaced the original guy who was going to be Joe Pesci's partner in that movie, who was actually the original guy in Home Alone was Daniel Roebuck, who is in all the Rob Zombie movies now. Right on, yeah. But I don't think Joe Pesci got along with Daniel Roebuck very well, and so they brought Daniel Stern in to replace him.
So my question to you, in your opinion, so the casting they did for CHUD, I think it was phenomenal. Do you think they could have done do you think it was perfect the way they did, or they could have what other actors do you think could have stepped up to play those roles?
Oh, I think that with CHUD, in terms of how many people went on to do other things, they found quite a few stars in that movie. I mean, John Hurt was in a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. And obviously John Goodman, and Daniel Stern for that matter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whoever casted the movie, they really spotted some talent in CHUD, and they got him in there right before they were famous.
Yeah, that's crazy too, and I'm so happy that the movie did so good in the box office. So they filmed this movie the summer of '83, I believe. So and it came out August 31st, '84. So that was a year after filming. And I didn't, so it came out '84. I definitely didn't get to see that in the movie because I wasn't born yet.
Yeah, I was a little too young to see CHUD when it came out in theaters.
Yeah, I wasn't born to the '90s, so there's not a shot that I was ever going to get to see that in movie theaters. But that must have been really cool to go see in the theaters,
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was during that age, of the horror stuff. And CHUD was different because it wasn't the kind of movie that was coming out a lot then. It wasn't a slasher movie.
No.
A lot of the 80s stuff was all slasher, and CHUD is more of a monster movie.
Yeah. I don't know. Would you say sci-fi horror? I don't know.
I mean, it has definitely some sci-fi elements because you have the bad kind of government type people who are responsible for all this. Right. They're the ones dumping the waste down there. They're the ones covering it up with the whole obviously CHUD doesn't really stand for cannibalistic human underground dwellers. It's, it stands for contaminated, contaminated hazard urban disposal.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the second meaning that a lot of people don't know. I was like, when you were saying it, I'm like, all right, what is that? I know it. I think I know it. And it just came to me. Yeah, cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers is not the official meaning for them.
Right. Yeah, I can't believe I remembered the whole contaminated hazard urban disposal thing, but I did.
Yeah, that's awesome, because like as you were saying it, it started coming back to me. I was like, oh no, I hope you don't put me on the spot and ask me what it was, because I don't know off the top of my head.
Because that's like one of those like horrible pop quizzes you don't want to have, because that could mean anything.
Right.
That acronym could mean anything,
Right. Just to throw out there too, Arrow Video did a really good Blu-ray release on this movie. It's pretty good.
Really? That's great. Yeah. I don't have the Blu-ray. I have it on DVD. But I would love to see that Blu-ray.
Yeah, I own the Blu-ray. It's really, really good. You should definitely check it out. They did like Arrow Video and Synopsis Films and Scream Factory. They always do like a really good job, and especially like movies that are like street trash and stuff. They add a little extra stuff to it, and it makes it like more special. It's really cool. I love what they do.
And I heard, I don't know this necessarily to be true, but I heard they did a documentary about street trash recently.
Did?
And it was called, I don't know, something Meltdown or something like that. It'd be pretty easy to look up, I think. But where they actually got a lot of the people who were still around together, and they talked about street trash, including, I think, the director.
And you said, did it just come out recently?
It was fairly recent, in the past few years. And it was a documentary. And I've seen clips from it, but I couldn't tell you the name of it. You'd have to look that up. Something Meltdown or something like that. But yeah, and they got, like I said, the director, who is now, a very well-known cinematographer, they got him in there and some of the actors talking about it, and which is kind of cool for a movie like Street Trash. It may just be an extra on the DVD somewhere. I'm not sure.
Right. Was because the only thing that I'm seeing right now was it's Street Trash, Street Trash 30 Years of Filthy Fun. And then it says the description is Street Trash 30 Years of Filthy Fun, which a documentary about Street Trash took 4 years to make.
It took 4 years to make?
Yeah, that was that's what the little description says. Yeah, it's crazy, huh?
Yeah. I was in a movie that took a while to make, but not 4 years. That's like David Lynch shit right there.
See, how long, so like, because you're an actor, so you can answer this question. So usually like filming, like for CHUD, for example, because it says they filmed the summer of 83. So it only takes like a couple months to do filming for a movie, then like they send it out and it takes like a year to edit it and do all the other stuff to it.
Yeah, like something like CHUD, if it had over $1 million budget, then that's a scheduled shoot. That you'll like shoot for a month or a few weeks and then you're done. It sounds like Street Trash was made more the way Homesick, the film I was in, Homesick, was made, where you just sort of, you shot some, and then you raised more money, and you shot some more, and it just kind of went over a long period of time.
Right.
Which usually that's how it goes when it's a really kind of low-budget movie. You have to have some money to do it really professionally and say, okay, your start date is this, and then 3 weeks later, this is when we're ending, or a month later.
Right, and just to throw it out there, I was trying to look up while we were talking what was the budget of Street Trash, and it was $500,000.
Wow, I wouldn't even have guessed that much. But yeah, you did have film and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I could buy that.
Yeah, it says with an estimate budget of $500,000. Yeah, so I mean. Yeah, so CHUD was, I said, what, 1.25 million, right? So yeah, wow, that's well, Street Trash too, it had a lot of like special effects, with like the guy's face melting off and all that stuff too. When I mean CHUD had a lot of that too, but like not to like that extreme level that Street Trash did.
Yeah, Street Trash is definitely more of a gore fest than CHUD is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, CHUD has some good dismembered bodies laying around, and they look great.
Yeah.
Like the head that has the headset still on it, that looks really good. That looks like a severed head.
Yeah, exactly.
But Street Trash was really like the whole people are melting and you're going to watch them melt slowly sort of thing, you know.
So now I know this is tough, and I was trying to think of this one as we were doing the thing, and I really love both of these films a lot. I think they're really great. There's something about 80s New York horror that just it just drags me in. I mean, it's more than like the storyline and everything. It's like the atmosphere of the movie got like that old, New York look to it. And I just like that like heavy city look in a horror movie. I think it works really well.
Yeah, and I think it lends to the whole era of something horrible happening too, because you're surrounded by people theoretically, and yet still, there are creatures coming out of the sewers trying to get you. There are people melting, and no one's going to help you, even though you're surrounded by them. There's something about that that's in and of itself kind of creepy.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, with all the people being around and this shit unfolding in front of you, it makes it like, you're like, oh shit, like, this is really happening right now. It's not like it's like a secluded place in like the woods somewhere and like 4 people got murdered. No, it's like in the middle of Times Square and like, you know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah, I mean, street trash. It's like a whole subculture going on with the bums on the street, and nobody's paying any attention to them or the fact that they're melting.
No, yeah. It was crazy. Such good films. So, out of the two, Street Trash or CHUD, which one do you like more?
Well, I would have to say CHUD, honestly.
Yeah.
I like Street Trash, but in terms of like if I had to choose between those two, I would probably choose CHUD myself.
Yeah, same. I'd lean towards CHUD too. I think even though they were both filmed in New York, I really think CHUD has more of the New York feel to it. You know what I mean? With the like the creatures coming out of the sewer caps and like the cityscapes and everything like that. It had more of a New York feel for me, even though they were both filmed there.
And you can look at CHUD and see that that's New York, too. I mean, I guess really Street Trash could be any kind of city,
Yeah.
But yeah, CHUD, you definitely know that's going on in New York.
Yeah, and just like when we were talking before the episode started, like there was, probably like 5-6 other movies we could have put on this thing and we could have been talking all night. Like Basket Case was another one. And like Basket Case, you can tell that's in New York.
Yes, Maniac, for sure, you can tell that's New York.
Maniac, New York. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. And CHUD falls into the category with Maniac and, Basket Case that you're like, oh, yeah, this is definitely taking place in New York where Street Trash does, but, like, you have to be like, okay, let me, they got the junk car lot where all the bums live, and it doesn't really have too much of that New York feel, but at the same time it does.
Yeah, the only time you really have a real good New York feel in that is when you go into that little liquor store, which looks like it's just cut out of the wall, that little closet.
Yeah, where they get the Viper.
Where they get the Viper, and you go, yeah, I totally believe that's a liquor store in New York.
In New York City, exactly. It was like such a sketchy little liquor store too. It's like so like tight and small in there, and like when the guy in the wheelchair was in there, everybody's bumping into each other, they're stealing liquor bottles and shit. It's so funny.
Yeah, like the guy in the wheelchair is a great example because that you can barely walk in that little hallway there, the entrance, and so that wheelchair has no chance in hell of getting through there.
Right. And that's like something you would definitely see in New York too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's why I say like that liquor store, yeah, I totally believe that's New York. But any of those, like you were talking about, the junkyard, or that could be in Detroit, or that could be in Philadelphia, that could be anywhere,
Right, exactly. But like that, like you said, the liquor store really screams, hey, we're in New York, this is where we filmed this movie.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so between those two, I lean more towards CHUD. Just because, I don't know, CHUD has like more of like a special place in my horror heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and CHUD has a slight advantage, because it's twice the money they had to make it, so it looks a lot better.
Right. Right.
So that's sort of an unfair advantage. But even story-wise, because like I said, the Street Trash, in a lot of ways, is kind of like, kind of one episode leading into another, whereas CHUD feels like it's a complete story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I like how they did it too, because like you said, it's a complete story, but followed by different characters. But it doesn't make you, like how do I try to explain it? It's like it's the same storyline followed by different characters, but it doesn't take you away from like the main story. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't get you sidetracked and stuff.
It's pretty well written.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was so cool how, like, you get introduced into all these different characters' lives, and, like this guy's a photographer, this guy does this, and, like, it's all tied into the same thing, and you don't get sidetracked in any way.
And a lot of those actors in CHUD are really good, too, which helps.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, they had really good actors in that movie that went on and had successful careers.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They can thank CHUD.
And some are no longer with us. John Hurd, he was a great actor, but he's no longer with us.
Right. And, John Goodman, he's still going.
Yeah, and Daniel Stern, still out there.
Still going. I'd like to, like, you think, like when you go to conventions, like, in my case, like, I'm a horror fan, perspective. When you go to conventions, you want to meet these guys, but, like, what's the chance that I'm going to meet, like, John Goodman or Daniel Stern at, like, a horror convention? I mean, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, those two are going to be kind of hard to meet, I think, at a horror convention.
Right.
Especially John Goodman. I mean, Daniel Stern I could see him maybe doing...
Yeah, maybe like a Comic-Con or something.
Yeah, he could be like a horror hound.
Yeah, something big. One of the bigger shows, right. Every time, like, there's, like, a convention around here, or, like, I go as far out, because I'm in Rhode Island, so I go as far out as, like, New Jersey, New York. So every time they have a convention, I'd be like, all right, cool, like, can we have someone from CHUD? Can we get someone from Street Trash, Basket Case, like, anything like that? I want to meet somebody from one of those movies.
Yeah, I know, in my experience, I don't think I've ever been at a convention with anyone from CHUD. Not that I can remember. I've done a lot in New Jersey, Baltimore, East. Done a lot of conventions there, but I've never done one with anyone from CHUD, I don't think.
Right. See, I'm like, that would be something crazy. So if there was ever like a mini CHUD reunion or like a mini Street Trash reunion, that's something to like gravitate towards,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Hey guys, like, thank you. I hope you guys had fun this episode. LC, thank you for being on the show, man.
My pleasure, bud.
Have a good night, brother.
You too.